The Los Angeles Dodgers have been rocked by one of the most dramatic and explosive internal controversies the organization has seen in years. What started as a routine lineup decision has snowballed into a full-blown public scandal that has left teammates divided, fans outraged, and the entire baseball world watching in complete disbelief. Ryan Rushing has been dropped from the starting lineup, traded to the worst team in Major League Baseball history, and has responded with a series of shocking and deeply disrespectful public statements that have set the entire Dodgers clubhouse on fire. And when Yoshinobu Yamamoto, one of the most composed and quietly respected figures in that locker room, finally lost his temper and publicly scolded Rushing, everyone knew that this situation had crossed a line that could never be walked back. Nobody saw this coming. Nobody expected a player of Rushing standing to respond to a professional decision with this level of bitterness, anger, and public disrespect. But it happened. Every word was said out loud. Every insult was heard by the entire team. And now the consequences are arriving with full force. What led to this decision? Why did the Dodgers make such a dramatic move? What exactly did Rushing say about Ohtani and the organization that shocked the entire baseball world? And why did the usually calm and composed Yamamoto finally reach his breaking point? The situation began earlier this week when Dodgers manager Dave Roberts announced the starting lineup and Rushing's name was nowhere to be found. For a player who had considered himself a core part of the Dodgers roster, the public omission was humiliating. Media personnel immediately began asking questions. Reporters flooded Roberts with inquiries about the decision, sensing that there was far more behind this lineup change than a simple tactical rotation. Roberts, in his usual measured tone, confirmed that the decision had been made in the best interest of the team and declined to go into further detail. But behind closed doors, sources within the organization revealed that this was not a temporary benching. This was the beginning of the end of Ryan Rushing's time in Los Angeles. Within 24 hours, the news broke that the Dodgers had agreed to trade Ryan Rushing to a franchise that sent shockwaves through the entire league. The destination was a team that has spent years at the very bottom of the standings, a franchise with one of the worst records in recent baseball history, and an organization that sits at the furthest possible distance from the championship culture that the Dodgers have built under Roberts and the current roster. For a player who had worn Dodger blue and stood beside some of the greatest names in the game, the move was seen by many as a devastating fall from grace. For others, it was simply the organization making a decision that had been building for some time. But Ryan Rushing did not respond with silence. He did not respond with dignity. He did not respond the way teammates, coaches, fans, or anyone who has ever respected the game of baseball would have hoped. Rushing went public. And what he said left the entire baseball world completely stunned. In a series of public statements that spread across every media platform within minutes, Rushing unleashed a furious and deeply personal attack on the Dodgers organization, on the team's performance, and most shockingly of all, on Shohei Ohtani himself. Rushing said that the Dodgers had made a catastrophic mistake by removing him from the lineup and that the team's recent struggles were direct proof of that decision. He said, with complete seriousness, that they lost because he was not there. He claimed that his presence on the field was the difference between winning and losing and that the organization had made an emotional and irrational decision that would cost them deeply as the season progressed. But Rushing did not stop there. In the statement that immediately became the most talked about moment in baseball, Rushing turned his anger directly toward Shohei Ohtani. He called the Dodgers useless. He called Ohtani useless. He said that the so-called superstar had done nothing to stand up for a teammate who deserved better and that the entire Dodgers organization was built around one player at the expense of everyone else. The words hit like a bomb. Within minutes, the statements had been shared millions of times. Every sports network in the country was running the quotes on a loop. Former players, current stars, coaches, and fans were responding with a mixture of shock, anger, and complete disbelief that a professional baseball player would publicly attack a teammate and specifically Shohei Ohtani, in such a personal and disrespectful way. Freddie Freeman was one of the first Dodgers players to respond publicly. Freeman, who has always been one of the most respected voices in the clubhouse, did not mince his words. He said that what Rushing said was embarrassing. Not just for rushing personally, but for anyone who has ever called themselves a professional baseball player. Freeman said that when you are part of a team, you win together and you lose together. You do not go to the media and attack your teammates when things do not go your way. He said that Ohtani gives everything he has to this organization every single day and that the comments directed at him were not just wrong, they were cowardly. Mookie Betts also addressed reporters and his tone was equally sharp. Betts said that the entire Dodgers clubhouse had seen the statements and that the reaction inside that room was one of unified disgust. He said that nobody in that locker room had any sympathy for what Rushing had said and that the trade was looking more and more like the right decision with every passing hour. Betts said that Ohtani, as always, had said nothing publicly and had simply continued to work and prepare like the professional he is. And that contrast, Betts said, told you everything you needed to know about the difference between the two men. Dave Roberts faced reporters in a tense and serious press conference later that day. The Dodgers manager confirmed that he had seen Rushing's public statements and that the organization had taken them very seriously. Roberts said that the Dodgers are an organization built on respect, accountability, and professionalism, and that the comments made by Rushing stood in direct opposition to every value this team holds. Roberts declined to go into specific details about internal conversations but made clear that the trade had been finalized and that the chapter was now closed from the organization's perspective. He said that the focus of this team remains exactly where it has always been, on winning, on supporting each other, and on the standard that has been set by players like Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts every single day. And then came the moment that truly silenced everyone. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who has been known throughout his entire career in both Japan and the United States as one of the most composed, respectful, and quietly professional figures in the sport, spoke out. For a player who rarely raises his voice, rarely engages in public controversy, and has consistently let his performance on the mound do all of his talking, the decision to publicly respond to Rushing's comments was significant in a way that everyone in the baseball world immediately understood. Yamamoto did not shout. He did not use dramatic language. But every single word he said landed with the full weight of a man who had reached his absolute limit. Yamamoto said that what Rushing said about this team and about Ohtani was disrespectful in a way that he could not stay silent about. He said that Ohtani is not just a great baseball player. He is a great human being who treats every person in that clubhouse with dignity and works harder than anyone Yamamoto has ever shared a field with. He said that calling Ohtani useless was not just factually wrong. It was shameful. And he said that he hoped Rushing would one day understand what it truly means to be part of something bigger than yourself, because clearly, he had not understood it during his time in Los Angeles. The response to Yamamoto's statement was immediate and overwhelming. Fans, players, and media figures from across the country praised the Japanese pitcher for speaking up with such clarity and conviction. Many noted that when Yamamoto, of all people, feels compelled to publicly scold a former teammate, it tells you everything about how far over the line that teammate had gone. Ryan Rushing is now on his way to a franchise sitting at the bottom of the league. The Dodgers are moving forward with the players who deserve to wear that uniform. And Shohei Ohtani, who said nothing, did nothing wrong, and simply continued to show up and compete every single day, once again proved without saying a word why he is in a category entirely his own. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Subscribe to our channel for more interesting and up-to-date information.